Hey guys, so today I have an awesome guest on the podcast. Her name is Simran. Is that correct?
Simran, yes.
Simran? Okay, perfect. And so Simran, if you could just tell me a bit about yourself and about Youth for the People, that would be amazing.
Hello, my name is Simran Haribhai, but I just go by my nickname Simi. I am a 16-year-old junior from El Paso, Texas, and growing up in a border city has allowed me to have had a multicultural and diverse experience growing up. It's how I'm completely fluent in Spanish, and I also speak Gujarati with my grandparents and other family members because I'm Indian. And then my interests include ballet, which I have done for over 11 years. And in my spare time, I love to read, cook, and bake. And then finally, um, which is, I guess, the main focus of this, I have started an organization called Youth for the People.
Yeah, that's amazing. I did not know you did ballet. That's awesome. I actually did ballet when I was younger as well. I kind of like stopped during high school, but that's amazing. So going on to more of Youth for the People, I would love to know just like what made you have this passion to start Youth for the People?
So initially, I'm going to be honest, I was looking to add something to my college resume as I'm going to be applying within the next year. And I just wanted to do something to stand out. But then I quickly realized that I do have a voice and that I can use that to bring attention to things that I am passionate about and that I can like really make a difference. And it's not just something that, oh, well, I just want to do it just to do it. Um, there are issues that are infinitely bigger than myself, and I knew that creating some kind of platform would be the perfect way to go about it. I consider myself to have a global outlook on life, and I love learning about pressing world issues. So I realized I could do the same for others and hopefully make an impact along the way. So after about a month of brainstorming, I realized I wanted to spread awareness on issues that don't necessarily get enough media attention or should receive more, especially international affairs. So then I wanted to also do something that brought today's youth together through education and advocacy. So that's why Youth for the People focuses on everything from humanitarian crises to human rights violations to global movements and climate change.
Yeah, for sure. So you definitely touched on a few of the issues, right? Like global warming, climate change, those types of issues. So I'd love to know which ones are you most passionate about?
Uh, so I feel like wherever issues that should be considered as like real world problems and not just things that are like up for debate or that people just don't know about. So we have covered. So Youth for the People is a new organization we just launched in August. So we have covered the humanitarian crisis in Yemen because the situation there is very bad. Um, they're near famine. They have cholera outbreaks. Then we've also touched on the situation in Sudan. So, like, they're in a fragile political climate, and then they've also experienced recent flooding that is due to climate change. And I just feel like it's like places like these that don't get enough attention and that should get more. I'm also wanting to cover the Black Lives Matter movement in America, which also ties into the movement that's going on in Nigeria right now, the Ban SARS movement because of police brutality. So hopefully that'll be my next issue. And along with so many others, I mean, there's political crisis in Thailand, there's conflicts in India as well. So just really anything that I feel like today's youth like needs to know about.
Right. So, oh my gosh, I actually, this is crazy. This is such a coincidence. I just was on TikTok and I saw this TikTok about a lady in Nigeria, and I think she was mentioning about what was happening there. This kind of like really abrupt, but could you just talk a bit about that specific situation in Nigeria? Because I would love to know about that because I'm not really educated on all these different things that are going on globally. So I'd love to know if you can give me a little intake on that.
So, you know what? Now that I have decided that that will be our next issue. We're still in the middle of covering Sudan, but what is going on in Nigeria is that they're experiencing a movement against police brutality that is similar to that of the United States. So I think it's in the 1990s, the SARS organization was formed, and it was basically a police movement that was against armed robbery. But now they this organization has been targeting many people just by profiling them with how they dress, and if they even just for having an iPhone, people are getting profiled and being pulled off the streets. Um, they have also been targeting youth and youth protesters, and now the country is demanding change. The organization has actually been disbanded, but then just given a new name. And so Nigerians are now protesting this and they want reform, not just to abolish SARS, but like reforms against corruption and just in order to like, in order to be a more progressive nation, I guess.
Hmm. Wow, that's insane to think about. And just like profiling somebody just based on them having an iPhone and the way that they dress. That's insane to me to think about. But yeah, I just that's like I guess our world now. I remember seeing this one thing, I think it was on social media a while ago, and it was like this one fashion creative director. He was just dressing in really casual clothes. He was African American, and he was just walking down the streets in New York, and he's literally practically a CEO at this point, right, of a fashion company. And he was still profiled because of the way he dressed, even though he's a very educated, has a good job, right? Everything, but he was still profiled by the police and they were being super touchy with him too. And I was just like, that's insane. Literally can happen to anybody. Um, but wow, that's just really interesting to learn about. Thank you for sharing that. Going
Yes.
back to,
Sorry, sorry,
yeah, of
sorry.
course. Um, so going back to Youth for the People, like how do you believe Youth for the People is helping to make a change and impact towards these issues?
So I feel that just by people like knowing more about the injustices the world faces today is just one step in the right direction. Um, we are the future. Um, it's not good to just not be aware, not spread awareness over the fact that people are suffering. There are so many conflicts and disasters that the world faces today. So I wanted this to be a platform where people could express themselves through addressing these global conflicts through writing, through speaking, blogs and podcasts. I really want to expand my audience outreach as well as the fellowship program that I'm hoping to initiate since my organization is only around 2 months old. So I just really want to hopefully get enough young people today together to realize that, okay, we have a voice and we can, do so many things about so many pressing world issues today.
Yeah, definitely. So going on to the fellowship program and the fellow program, who do you think can apply for this and how do they apply for it?
So, as to who should apply, the program is open to anyone who is high school and up. So that would be like ideally ages 14 and up. Because I feel like um, anything younger than that, like I want to have like a more mature outlook. So anyone can apply. I want this to be as diverse and as including and encouraging as possible. So if and I'm speaking to to your viewers now. So if you think that you have a passion for social issues, you should definitely apply. You can go to our website, which is www.youthforthepeople.org, and go to our contact button, and there is a form to fill out.
That sounds amazing. Yes, anybody listening, go apply if you are between the ages of like 14, 16, 17, 18. And yeah, so my final question about Youth for the People is what do you ultimately want this kind of to become?
So I want it to be something that, like, a large platform that unites today's young people. I want them to be able to use their voices and spread more awareness on issues that reaches people all across the globe. Um, I want it to be just a more well-known organization that truly does good work and spreads awareness.
Yeah, definitely. So now going on to your mindset, what or can you describe a time when your work was criticized and how did you handle that?
Um, Hold on, just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so sorry about that.
It's okay.
Like little siblings. Um, so youth for the people. In terms of youth for the people, since we're relatively new, we have not gotten as much criticism or as feedback as I would like. But I feel like a time where I have been criticized would, well, I guess I find myself as my own harshest critic. Because when I initially started this, I had like my fears and my doubts. Like, what if this doesn't go good? What if it becomes nothing? Like, I can't abandon this and do all this work for nothing. So I guess I would have to say I just use that to, like, okay, I have a chance here, and I'm gonna use it to hopefully help people.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I remember, so over quarantine, I kind of started this thing. It's called Dancing with a Purpose, and it's just a way to give people a positive creative outlet, right? During the pandemic, especially when I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with mental health issues because they're being, kind of put into like a box of just being by themselves, having to be in their thoughts alone, and that can lead to different things. So I want to just give people positive creative outlet, right? And I remember I was so nervous because it was just myself starting out. And I made like the website, everything. I put in so many hours of work. But then I was so nervous, like, what if this fails? What if nobody wants to like join a class? What if nobody applies to be like a social media intern or something like that? And I just had all these thoughts, but I was just like, you know what? Just go for it. It like in the end, this will just benefit you. And um, so I just like went for it. And I can definitely like understand where you're coming from, right? Like being your own critic and being your greatest critic because like I was just so like nervous and I was like, oh my God, what if this fails? Just super critical about myself. But in the end, like it just I feel like everything works out and everything will just come together no matter what happens. As long as you put in all you can into something, I think the outcome is just out of your hands. But I'm glad that Youth for the People is going well. I think it's going to be very successful and I think it's going very well so far.
Thank you so much. I hope so too, because like when I started this, I told myself, okay, it can't just be something that if it doesn't start the way you want, you can't just give up on it. You have to keep going, and then things will, like you said, work themselves out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
hmm Um, and then, so how do you want to like keep improving yourself in the next year?
I want to just continue to have a positive mindset, because sometimes I feel like I personally struggle with that because I am a perfectionist, and then sometimes that gives me anxiety when things don't go exactly how I want them to go. So I just want to, like, keep calm and like reassure myself, and then really like um gauge a good sense of community with, hopefully through the fellowship program and like my friends, to just like keep ourselves like sane, and to just maintain a mindset that is, I guess, productive and successful, but at the same time taking account like our mental health and like how we're doing like as people.
Yeah, definitely. I would totally agree with that as well. Because I think like your mental health is so important. I think people really don't take their mental health that seriously, or like they don't realize that they should like, give themselves maybe even 5 minutes a day just to like be alone with their thoughts, reflect on the day. And yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with that as well. My next question is what is your like kind of ideal working environment? And this can mean like your desk area, like how do you keep yourself working and motivated in your environment?
So I guess it would have to be my desk. I'm a bit of a disorganized person, so there's papers everywhere and books and like textbooks. But it's kind of like an organized chaos, so where like I know exactly where everything is. It just and then sometimes I'll play music, um, and it'll just like keep me focused and like okay, I have to sit here and focus on the task at hand and just get it done.
Definitely. And then could you tell me about your proudest achievement?
Um,
You can
sorry.
take your time, don't worry. Mm.
So I would have to say my proudest achievement. Um, so I had a teacher when I was a freshman in high school, and he taught AP Human Geography. So that's I think kind of where I started to get more of a global mindset and like okay, like how can I use what I'm taking from this class and apply it to like my life and what I want to do in the future. And I think that was the first class in which I really had that moment that I felt like, okay, I think I found my thing here and I can like use that to for my success. So at the end of the year he gave me the award for most outstanding student. So each teacher at my school picks two people out of all the classes they have. And so out of I think 300 kids who were taking that class, he picked me. And that was just a special moment because it was not only just an award, but it was something that I was passionate about.
Definitely. And I think that's so rewarding to have somebody that you probably looked up to, right? And like a mentor. Yeah, and have them kind of show you like, you're an amazing student, you're outstanding. I want to show you that, right? That must be so meaningful. And I would agree with that as well. My next question is kind of like about the future. So, what are your kind of lifelong dreams?
So I want to attend a good university. I think I'd want to major in international relations and or global studies. And then hopefully from there, I would get accepted into law school and then become an international human rights lawyer. That is the plan right now. I hope I can become an international human rights lawyer to just help others and like make an international difference.
Yeah, definitely. I think those career goals and just like lifelong goals totally align with what you're doing right now, right? It shows because you're passionate about these human rights issues, these global issues, and that makes so much sense for you to go into law to be an activist almost in a way, right, for these people and these issues. So I can definitely see you in the future doing that. And then my next question is, what is your greatest fear?
I would have to say right now, my greatest fear is failure. That's something like I've been dealing with like for a while because like my school is very competitive, and I just want to be able to one day say, okay, I made a difference and I'm happy. But to do that, I need to be successful. So there's always that fear that okay, what if I fail? So I feel like that's always been something that's always like in the back of my mind.
hmm Yeah, I definitely relate with that as well. My high school is also super competitive and like, do you guys have clubs like TOSA and DECA? Have you heard of those clubs?
Mm-mm.
No. So they're essentially like kind of competition-based clubs. HOSA is like more medical based, DECA is more business based, but at my school these kids take these clubs so seriously. It's like if you don't make it to nationals, you're seen as a failure, and it's just this super toxic mindset. And even like things like starting this podcast for me, I was super nervous starting it because I was like, oh my God, people are gonna judge me so hard if like it doesn't go right or if it's quote unquote failure, right? And same with Dancing with a Purpose. I was like so scared to start it because I was like, what happens if this just doesn't work out and just nobody comes to join classes, nobody comes to sign up to do things, and I was just so nervous. But then I feel like through quarantine, I kind of finally got over that barrier because like nobody's stopping me, right? I'm like, I can't say I have to study for SAT. I can't say people's opinions are like stopping me because I can't see any of these people anymore, right? Like they're not tangibly right there. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. And that helped me so much. But I would totally agree with that as well because failure, I feel like for everybody too, it's like a universal thing. Everybody's scared of failing, right? That's just because it's like almost the unknown future of like different things that you're doing. So yeah, I would agree with that as well. Now moving on to some fun questions and some brain teasers. There's no right or wrong answer, but if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be?
Uh, this is going to sound probably a little cliche, but right now I'd want to be in Paris.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah, uh-huh.
so in March, I was going to visit there for my birthday, but then with COVID and everything, it got canceled. And so, ever since it got canceled, I've been kind of upset. But like, I realized, like, okay, there's a pandemic, like, can't. But I've just been dreaming of wandering through the streets and eating all these French pastries and shopping.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Paris is like the dream place. I think Paris and like London, all those places are like my dream places to visit at least one time in my life because it just seems so beautiful. The Eiffel Tower, even the way that Parisians speak, like it's so beautiful. Everything about it is just like so stunning and ethereal. I would agree with that as well. Um, my next question is, what's the last book you've read?
The last book I read was called The Bone Setter's Daughter by Amy Tan. It was a story about a mother and daughter and just their life experiences and how it made them the people they are today and the kinds of bonds that they have. Um, Amy Tan is one of my favorite authors. She's also written Joylet Club. So yeah.
Definitely. I was like literally about to read Bonesetter's Daughter this year, I think. And then for some reason my library like it wasn't in our selection or something, and I was like super upset because I wanted to read at least something from Amy Tan because she's just such an amazing author, and like Joy Luck Club is just a classic. I love it. But yeah, and then moving on to kind of like since Joy Luck Club is also a movie, what's the best movie you've seen in like either the last year or just in general?
Um, well, I'm a little bit of a Harry Potter nerd, so the Harry Potter series has always been a favorite of mine. I also really like the movie The Help. It's based on a novel written by Catherine Stockett. Um, so it's set in like the 1960s where segregation unfortunately was still a thing. So it's about African American women who work as maids to white women and just how so one of the characters is a white woman and she begins writing this book that features stories of these African American women. And yeah, it's one of my favorites, both book and movie actually. So
Definitely. So moving on to some brain teasers. What or no, you're a new addition to the Cranbrox. What color would you be and why?
uh I feel like I would be probably like I mean this is probably already a crayon, but somewhere in a mix of like really, really baby pink and like just millennial pink. Um
Ooh.
I don't know, like I haven't always liked pink, but lately, like just like a light baby pink has really like been like a color that makes me feel calm. Like my shirt is like baby pink. My
Hmm.
phone case is my room.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess I would be that color.
Yeah, definitely. I think that describes you perfectly too. You have this like calm aura about you, and I love it. It's just like
Thank
it,
you.
yeah, of course. It like it comes off to me and I feel like relaxed, and like calm. I love it. Um yeah. And then my last question just overall for you is what is your current favorite like song or jam?
Uh, so I've been listening to Phineas recently. He's Billie Eilish's brother. I love her too, but really any one of his songs, I don't know, they calm me and like they just make me feel like less stressed. So I guess if anyone is looking for new music, I would suggest Phineas.
Definitely. I will check him out. Well, thank you so much for being on. This was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So really quick, do you have any like plugs for Youth for the People or anything like that?
I would just say um, Youth for the People um, is an organization that, while it's informational, it also reflects passion. So if anyone has a passion for like global issues, issues, if it really moves you that there are people out there that are suffering, that there are so many more issues that are bigger than just you, I feel like you would be a great fit for Youth for the People, and that you really have the power to join me in doing good and making change.
Definitely. Everybody go check out their website and their Instagram. I believe the Instagram is Youth X People, right? Or is it something else?
No, it is
No.
underscore Youth for the People.
Oh, okay, okay. Underscore Youth for the People. Go check them out. Go give them a follow. And yeah, it was just a pleasure having you again. And I'm sure listeners learned so many new things about your mindset, about youth for the people, and like about in general different global issues, like what happens in Nigeria. That was amazing for me to learn about. But yeah, thank you.
Oh, and then lastly, I do want to say we are we're releasing more content soon. It's also going to touch on the floodings in Sudan and um, how they're environmentally impacting the people there. It features responses from experts from the UN Environmental Program. So I would just like to say stay tuned. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. I'm super excited to listen about that stuff. That's amazing. But yeah, thank you guys all for listening. Bye.